Good Tuesday evening. Welcome to BCP Live. I'm Joey McWilliams, and we are back on a Tuesday night. We've had a couple of weeks in a row where we were broadcasting on Wednesday night, and that's okay. I don't mind being here on a Wednesday night. I want to get a chance to visit with you each week, but it's nice to be back on a Tuesday night again. We are just about in the middle of September. School is going strong. Sports are going strong, too. That's something fun to watch. Southeastern, by the way, Southeastern Volleyball, in its first home match of the season, is hosting Southwestern Oklahoma and trailing 2-1 in the best-of-5 match in Great American Conference play. I'll give you an update on that here in just a little bit. But the Savage Storm at home at volleyball, and we will do a show. If everything works out, we'll do a show again, which originates from Bloomer Sullivan Gymnasium, which is, of course, the home of Southeastern Volleyball, and I think you'll appreciate that a lot. We have a special guest tonight with us here on BCP Live, and her name is Jade Anthony, someone whom I have just gotten to know recently, and I really appreciate her making the trip across the river and coming up and getting to know some of us here on the Durant side of the Texoma area. Jade, listen, it's nice to have gotten to meet you and get to know you a little bit better as we go along. Really quickly, tell the folks who you are and what are you doing in this area?
Wow. Okay. There's a lot to me, but I'm going to keep it brief. My name, they call me JTB, which stands for Jade the Blade. I am the education queen. The reason why I am the education queen is because I bring education to territories. So no matter if you're in all 50 states of the United States, or if you're in Trinidad and Tobago, or if you're in Guyana, if you have a need for education, I bring it to you. I'm a show director. And I do a lot. I started off being a stylist, a hairstylist, a barber stylist. And that one career took me throughout this whole industry, dealing with beauty, hair shows, education classes, meeting some of the best in the industry. And I just feel like, you know what? If I live in Texas, you guys are in New York. If I don't know you, I'm sure a lot of other people don't know you. So it just, I just felt compelled to just find the best of the best and bring them to the surface. So I love education.
I like that, by the way. I was looking that up, and we've connected on Facebook, and that's the name that is along with Jade Anthony, Education Queen. So that's really pretty cool. Okay, do you have that on your business card? I just have to ask.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, see, that's it. That's pretty cool then. I like that. I tease sometimes about putting different things on my business card. That would be something I would totally say would be on my business card. So that makes my night already that it's there. So that is cool. Well, what you're doing right now then, you talk about education. We have a few things to talk about. How did you end up then doing what you're doing? We're talking Jade the Blade. That has a meaning, I know. And so talk about that just a bit.
Okay, let's go back. Jade the Blade is a childhood name. We did martial arts growing up. I grew up in a time when I'm from Chicago. So I grew up in a time where on Saturdays we would go to this place called the Woods Theater and we will watch Bruce Lee movies. So my older siblings, who is much, much older than I am, we used to hop through the air during karate. So we ended up taking martial art classes. And I love sharp objects. So I was able to pitch a knife, and wherever I pitched it, it would stick. So everybody was like, oh, just wow. So I earned the name from my sister's husband. He was like, the Blade, Jade the Blade. So it stuck. And as I grew up in the industry, I'm known for cutting hair very quickly. I could cut a woman's hair in less than 3 minutes. So I just, and
Wow.
I guess I look like people say Edward Scissorhands, because when I'm on stage, the shears and the razors are going. So, but it's all a style thing. And so that's how Jade the Blade was created. It was created from childhood. So the name just stuck. I love my name, and it makes me feel like a superhero. So, hey, I'm here to save the hair world. No, but
that's especially cool. I like that.
And so from there, one thing being in hair shows, sometimes we're on stage and this great energy from the audience come over us and we really do showmanship. And that's what hair shows about. It's about education and showmanship put together. So it's edutainment. And when you're on stage and you're connecting with your audience, you realize that your audience are not only wowed about what you do, It's like a sense of permission that you give them to say, you could do it too. So what I've learned is coming from school, barber college, beauty college, because it is a college, not a school, but it is a college. It transcends over like, oh, I thought we could only cut like this. I thought we only hold the hair like this. And the way of thinking is so in a box to where the creativity is stifled, which troubled my heart so much to where I was like, no, we have to be able to get this out to show them that you can do whatever your brain thinks about. Let's show you how to do it. So that's what made me pursue education in the hair industry the way I did. Because of all the people I would run into, and they thought because of barber college and the instructors would teach them, this is how you do it, and that's all how you do it. And it's not. There's so many ways to get to the goal. Yeah.
You know, Jade, I want to stay there for just a moment too, because I appreciate that. You were talking about Bruce Lee movies, which lets me know a little bit about kind of how old you are, because I recall some of those movies as well. We're probably pretty close in that, but I didn't throw the blades. I'll leave that to you. You're probably much better at that. But we do live in a time in which that, you know, I think that there are fewer limitations. You know, we don't have to be in that box. We can learn things and we can grow in our education. We can grow in so many different ways. And it's interesting to hear you talk about that.
Yes, indeed. We can grow. And you're right. And each one teach one. Everyone has something that someone else can learn. And I believe, you know, okay, yeah, I'm going to tell my age just a little bit without telling my age. I grew up in a time where we had camaraderie in the salon. All the chairs were around the salon and we would talk to the stylists. The patrons would talk to us, even if they sit in someone's seat. Now it's so, this is my customer, this is my client. And it's so closed off to the point to where now we're in suites. But when we were all in one setting, we will watch Diane or we will watch Sam and we will watch each other and say, oh, that's how you get the line out. You see how they flick the wrist. So it was always even watching and learning. Mm-hmm. Now it's like, oh, well, I'm in my box. I got it. I have the select clients. So I think it give us a false sense of achievement, knowing that when we go out and take a class, it's really explosive. So it has a pro and con. There's, you know, I don't want to seem down on anything, but what I am going to share is this. Because of the difference mindset now, you have so many shops popping up, whether they're salon suites, whether individual shops. But as I tour around, when I started promoting for the show that I'm bringing into town, all the shops are empty. All the shops are empty. Not only empty from patrons, but they're empty from coworkers. And that really put a hole in my spirit. I was like, wow, why is this? Why is this? So one of the reasons is people, I guess when they can't get along in a certain area, or they feel like, oh, I could do this. Let me open up another shop. So now we have shops on the same block, about 12 on the same street. Like when where I'm located is in Denison on the main street. There's 12 shops on Main Street. And I was like, wow, where do they do this at? I never seen it in my life. I just never. So I was like, okay, so it has to be a common denominator here. What is that root? What is taking place? So what I've discovered is we have a lot of stylists going into entrepreneurship. We have a lot of barbers, stylists, beauty industry participants going into entrepreneurship with an employee mindset.
It's an interesting thought. Yeah.
Yes. So it's not like you learn the business skills in school. It's much more than just opening up a shop, filling it with seats and hoping people will come in. So with that being said, the next question for us will be, what ways can we cause them to thrive and to now pour the business back in, get the patrons coming in? There is a system in place, and that is the question that needs to be answered.
Okay, I would love to sit and listen to that for a while. I want to stop for a second though, and I want to say thanks to everyone for watching really quickly. By the way, Southeastern did fall in 4 sets to Southwestern volleyball tonight. So Savage Storm dropped their home opener here in Durant. And if you're just tuning in, we're talking with Jade Anthony, Jade the Blade tonight. I'm going to ask her about something here in a moment. Do want to give a shout out really quickly, folks. Law Street Brewery has a lot of things going on, and they have weekly events. If you haven't seen them already, we are promoting a lot of those on the Bryan County Patriot on the website, so be sure and check that out. One of those is up and online today. As we visit with Jade really quickly, Jade, when I saw you first was at a Chamber of Commerce meeting, which I promote those all the time here on BCP Live because I believe in it, and I think it's a great place to meet people, as I met you as well. You were talking about the Men of Power Symposium then. What is that? And, what is it? It's in the area, or is it in the area? What is it really quickly, and how do folks get to it?
Okay. Well, first of all, I got to say this to you. It was great meeting you. I believe in the Chamber of Commerce, and you guys have an excellent Chamber of Commerce too. Whatever city I move to, I'm always belonging to the Chamber of Commerce. So that's business tip number one: get with the chamber. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So now let's segue into here. Men of Power Symposium, the Legend Edition 2022. It is education, motivation, inspiration, and networking. This is where I chose. It's a hair show. It's a barber show, but not just a show. It's a business seminar for barbers and stylists, or anyone in the beauty industry. And I targeted barbers and stylists because of the problem that I just discussed. The Men of Power Symposium, I chose 7 legends in the industry who is making 7 figures. Most people don't think stylists can make 7 figures. Some people are just stuck at 6 figures, but we have new people who just recently, within the last 5 years, graduated from a barber or beauty college that are making 6 figures. Now, these gentlemen who are in my age group, and one millennial, are the leaders in our industry. They're the most sought after barbers and stylists in our industry. And I chose them for a reason. It's called Men of Power Symposium because these are men who speak with authority. And here's the truth. If I were to speak, most men will not listen to me. Okay? Most men do not listen to women, but both men and women listen to men speak. So I wanted to be able to have an event that is effective on both sides. I need for the industry itself to get this information to run a successful business. So you don't have to be a barber. You do not have to be a stylist. You could be a person that would like to open up salon suites or a chain of salons. This is not just for the stylist, because I tell people all the time, how many more haircuts can you see? How many more color techniques can you see? You can still see them and get better, but that is not going to franchise out your business. It's not going to create multiple chain business. It's not even going to grow the culture of your business. There are business techniques. So whether you are with having restaurants, real estate, some of the business foundation are the same. They're the same. So you necessarily do not have to be in the barber beauty industry. But this is a symposium that will give you the ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, but be able to fast track it and project it faster than to wait 30 and 40 years like we did to figure it out. The wheel's already being invented. So with that being said, the event is in the Texoma area. We're going to have it at the Hilton Garden Inn at Texoma Event Center off of 75 in Denison. I chose Denison because as I used to have a shop in Bonham that I recently closed down. I opened it at the wrong time. It was COVID, but I was able to thrive through COVID. And because of other things, I said, let me take a step back because my heart is in shows. It's not into having a salon anymore. I want to just help grow salons and do more shows by bringing education. The key element that's missing is the education to grow business, to grow your customer base, to even grow a culture to where everybody could come in and really have a good time. So it's just not only for, again, stylists and barbers, but if there's someone that says, you know what, I want to own a shop, I don't want to work in it, this is for you. If you want to say, I want to take those same techniques and put it towards my restaurant, this is for you. If you say, hey, I want to take that same information and put it to my radio show, this is for you. It's for you. This is business. This is business with flair and fun. So I chose legends of the industry, and there's one millennial out of Atlanta, Georgia. He is making 7 figures now, and it took him less time than the legends. He's 32 years old. The legends are at least in their 50s and above. The fabulous part about that is the young man, Jason Patriots, his story is that he followed their blueprint. All 6 of the other legends, he watched them growing up in the industry, and he did exactly what they did, and now they all are riding the same. So this is also to show anyone it's not going to take you that long to do it, if you, because everybody needs a mentor.
Yes.
You know, so I just really want to see the industry just be beautiful, because here's the truth, Joey. The establishments that are thriving are the chain business, like Great Clips, Sports Clips, Floyd's, the Gents Place. Those business who are chain salons, franchises, they are the one thriving. They have a culture and they have a system. Not the mom and pop shops. They're not.
But can they?
Well, they can. Everything is built off a system.
Okay. Yeah.
From customer service. See, here's the deal. Most of the mom and pop shops, because the owner do not want to deal with commission or payroll, they all settle for booth rent. But here's the truth behind the booth rent. When you are booth renting, that booth renter thinks they're paying the owner, not realizing the booth renter is falling under the name of the establishment that has already been established. So therefore, the guidelines should be as that booth renter operate under the said name. But instead, everybody sees it backwards, because as long as the booth renter is paying the rent to the owner, that owner feels like, well, not the owner, but the booth renter feels like, I get to come and go as I please. I don't have to obey to your rules. So therefore, now, when you open up at 9, someone shows up at 3, if they show up at all, it's not setting a great precedence about your business. So now the image is not there. The booth renter feel like he can come and go as they please, because they think they have banker hours.
I understand.
It's just a backwards way of thinking, and it doesn't operate like that. When you fall up under a business name, the business have rules, and you agree to abide by the rules. You agree to say, you know what, I want to represent this name as I rent a booth from you. So what are the rules and regulations?
Yeah. I'll give a shout out to Penny. Thank you for watching tonight. Appreciate you stopping by. Please feel free to comment as we're here on BCP Live talking with Jade Anthony. And a couple of things really quickly, Jade, as that you mentioned, and I just want to say really quickly, Hilton Garden Inn, a new advertiser for the Bryan County Patriot on the website. So we want to definitely give a shout out to the folks there. We have some more advertisers from south of the river who are part of the Texoma area. Of course, the internet doesn't stop at the Red River, or we wouldn't be able to speak with Jade tonight for sure. But we know that we travel both ways, and we want to take care of our businesses right here in Bryan County, but also those who take care of us down in Grayson County as well. And so a shout out to Hilton Garden Inn. And I would say one other thing before I ask you one more question, Jade, and I'm very thankful for your time. I appreciate what you said. And I don't want to go too deep into this, but I want to say something that in this day and age, I don't think it's said enough. But I personally believe we need to have men speaking, and the men that speak need to be speaking with authority. You said that. You said they were men who speak with authority, and we need to have men speak with authority. I'm thoroughly enjoying listening to you. I'm hanging on your every word, and I appreciate what you say, and I know that it's backed in wisdom, experience, and you know what you're talking about. So I don't have a problem listening, but I want to emphasize that we need to have men who speak and men who speak with authority. So I'll shut that part of the point down a little bit without going too far. And I wanted to ask you one more thing. Then, I had a barber growing up. I really did. At one point in time, there's a lot of blonde hair up there. You just have to trust me on this, Jade. I promise it was. I have pictures to prove it. Not so much right now. So I haven't seen my barber from back in the day in a good while. But I would ask you this: with all that's going on, I know that there are different things that you deal with in your industry that are common to your industry. Is there a common myth about your industry, a common myth about barbering or stylists or whatever that is?
Yes, the biggest myth of, I'm glad you asked. That's a great question. Thank you. The biggest myth is everyone thinks that all barbers and stylists are created equal. We're not created equal. I cannot do what Susan can do. Susan cannot do what I can do. We all are great in our own area. The unfortunate part is when you have someone that gave a not so good haircut, that tortures and really haunts the patron. So now when the patron comes sit in your seat, it's like, oh, are you going to cut my hair? Oh my goodness. And they're freaking out. One thing I want to share with everyone, all stylists and all barbers are not created equal. I do something called the first date. Okay, I learned this from a great friend out of Brooklyn, New York, when I took his class in Virginia Beach. By the way, I travel and take classes myself. Tando Kefele, he is called the lock king. He does all natural hair and locks and braids. He is phenomenal with it. He is the go-to. I'm bringing him next for all of my natural hairstylists. I got a great class for that as well. I got so much coming up. It's crazy. There's something called the first date. Just like when you go out on a date, you're supposed to have at least 100 questions that you're going to ask. Those questions is going to set you up to see if you're going to go on the next date. So I implement that into my consultation now. I'm no longer in the business of proving who I am. This is your opportunity for me to sit quiet, which is hard for me to do, and for you to ask me all the questions to make you feel at ease. And this is also my time to hear the questions you're asking me. And we together would decide if the next visit you will sit in my seat and I will continue to do your hair from that point. Other than that, we cannot get past the first date. And I feel like the patrons, this is for the patrons need to have all the questions that they need to have to ask that stylist, whether it's a barber, first-time stylist, to ask them all those questions in order to make them feel confident that their stylist can deliver. Ask to see their work. For years, I used to say, well, I'm Jade the Blade. I do hair shows. I'm this. I lived in Trinidad and Tobago. I grew territories. I'm a global artist. And I would use my accolades to win them over. Even though they said, well, Jade, you don't belong in Bonham. You belong in New York. You belong this. And that was a great compliment. But I used it for so many years to get the customer base that I wanted. It doesn't mean that the customer base was good for me either, because a lot of people also, in the second common myth is your stylist is not your psychiatrist. Go hire a psychiatrist for that. I got a life coach. I got a life coach certificate. I'm a certified life coach. It hangs on my wall. You start divulging your information, I will charge you. I will charge you, because
I'm keeping that in mind. We're cutting this short right now, so I don't want to get the bill a little bit. I'm just kidding. I'm only kidding.
And so, yeah, because that's a lot for us to take home. We deal with a lot of mental wellness. We deal a lot with a lot of mental wellness. And when you divulge your problems, because we're such empath, we take on your problems.
Yeah.
And you are relieved and release all your frustration and your depression. We end up, it's hard because no one ever taught us how to release it and give it back to you. Mm-hmm. So we'll take it, and then you go home, and now we're just sick. We're just like, I'm drained. I'm exhausted, which causes stylists and barbers to burn out quickly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So those are the two common myths.
Wow. I can totally see that. That is something. Okay. Well, I want to wrap it up then, because I want to give you a chance to invite the folks to come out. Men of Power Symposium. And we're going to promote this here on the Bryan County Patriot on the website as well, too. So be looking for that. But it's not just for barbers or stylists, although that is the first line that you're looking for. But anyone who wants to can come Where's it going to be? When is it going to be? How much does it cost?
Okay, awesome. The Men of Power Symposium will be at the Hilton Garden Inn at Texoma Parkway on 75 in Denison. It costs $200. It's an all-day event. So this is networking and business opportunities. We have live demos and we have motivation. So just imagine Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Eric Thompson, with all the legend in the industry. They're not going to be there. Just imagine that type of energy, that type of motivation with tools for you to run a business. October 16th, 2022 is at Texoma Parkway. I have, again, the leaders of our industry. Ivan Zoot, Chink the Barber, Al's Million, who made the first YouTube video. I have Ozell Graham, the founder and maker of At Ease and the Face Shop. We have Joe Anthony Pena from Joe Concepts. And we have Patrick Burke from Hatari Hanzo Shear Company. And we have Jason Patridge. Along with the very next day, I have another cutting class and color class with Kyle Bullock at the Main Street Salon and Suite in Denison, along with Patrick Burke again from Hatari Hanzo. That class is $100 and it's an all-day process as well. So if you missed the Men of Power Symposium, we have a next day color cut class at Main Street Salon and Suites. So the Men of Power is $200. The next day class is $100. But this is great education. Guarantee you're not going to find it at another hair show. Not like
no,
this.
and those are the kind of things that are well worth the investment. You look at it and you say, okay, we're putting some money into this, but the investment and what you'll get in return is definitely worth it. 33 days from today, if you're watching this the live show tonight, I know many of you watch this on Wednesday or Thursday following, and so that means it's getting close. And we will be talking about this here on the Patriot again. Jade, thank you so much for taking time with us here on a Tuesday night. I just can't say enough. I've gotten a lot out of it. I've been looking forward to this all day, and I really am excited, and I've learned a thing or two. So that is always something I appreciate. I know sometimes people say, well, you just talk all the time. How in the world can you learn anything? I'm quiet long enough to let the guests talk on here. And so that, Mrs. Patriot may say otherwise, but I promise you, I listen while we're on here at least. Jade, I've learned a lot. Thank you so much for being on the show with us tonight.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. We hope to get to hear from her again, but we will be bringing that up. So we're going to say goodbye to Jade. By the way, Jade is at one of two or three. She took time out at an event right now that is literally going on around her. She's been busy all day long, so I'm going to let her get back to that event. But thank you very much. And we're appreciative to have you. So Jade Anthony, who is promoting the Men of Power Symposium, and keep that in mind, October 16th at the Hilton Garden Inn in Denison. Let me give a shout out, folks. Hilton Garden Inn. That is oh my goodness, that is a fantastic place. It's down there. It is on it's exit 65. It is exit 65 as you're going down Highway 6975, and you'll turn off. It's on the west side of the road there. They have the convention center along with a fantastic hotel as well. I had a chance to go in and visit last month. I talked with CJ, talked with Chris. I've driven by it so many times. It's because it's right there past the Starbucks that's there. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of a landmark if you haven't noticed, and think, man, that's a neat hotel. But usually I'm just trucking on by one way or the other. Generally, I haven't stayed in a hotel in Denison. But I thought, I need to see this. I want to go in and see it. It is worth the time. It is a fantastic place, and it will be a great place for an event like what Jade is talking about. So keep that in mind, October 16th. So 33 days away from today. All right. One other thing, too. I mentioned just a little bit earlier that school is starting, and so athletics are starting. Southeastern falls tonight in 4 sets to Southwestern Oklahoma. So that was a GAC match there. Savage Storm, we will be doing a show from Bloomer Sullivan Gymnasium. Okay, my Seahawks. My Seahawks. My Seahawks won last night, 17-16. I broadcast sports. That's the drinking game, so that's my time. This is a really cool cup. I got this for Father's Day, and I got it from Pro Image in Durant. Pro Image has so many different things that are on so many different levels of sports. You can get things for Bryan County high school teams, college teams, professional teams. Seahawks, obviously, a professional team. I got that at Pro Image. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Daryl and Melissa really quickly. And again, I broadcast sports. And I needed to say that so I could take part in the drinking game. It's water. Promise it's water. It is just water. Big Peanut. The Big Peanut. The time capsule, unveiling the time capsule is next year. It's going to be in June. Lots of Big Peanut events taking place over the course of the next few months, and one that will happen on Friday. There's a Big Peanut event Friday at the Durant Sports Complex, so keep that in mind. We'll also talk about that a little bit more on the Bryan County Patriot. I mentioned Lost Street Brewery, things that are happening this week. Check out those events. They are online. Wow, what happened there? Anyway, they're online at BryanCountyPatriot.com. I want to wrap up. I want to give a shout out again to Jade Anthony, Jade the Blade. Is that not a cool name? I mean, that is an incredibly cool name. Obviously, with the J, she could fit into our household very, very easily. But Jade the Blade, I like that a lot. Okay, 3 things. Let's wrap it up here. 3 things. Number 1, listen, be wise. Be wise. I had a chance to visit with someone today about wisdom. We all need wisdom. And if you don't feel like you have enough wisdom, James chapter 1 in the Bible, and we still can talk about the Bible here. So James chapter 1 in the Bible, God said, if you're lacking wisdom, ask him. He said, give it to you clean without finding fault. That's really cool because I need to ask for wisdom on a daily basis. And I'm glad God's not mad at me for asking for wisdom every single day. Number 2, walk in love. It is easy sometimes to look at the person who cuts you off in traffic. And traffic, by the way, it seems like I'm not even, well, traffic in Durant proper, traffic in Bryan County as a whole, traffic in Durant proper, especially with a new school next to an old school. And anyway, you can get wound up about people cutting you off in traffic. I'm talking about just the little things. It's not always easy to forgive, but it's always the best thing to do. Walk in love. I promise you're going to get something out of it. And number 3, do not walk in fear. That is probably the most difficult of the 3, not to walk in fear. I challenge you. I encourage you. Do not walk in fear. You have respect for a situation. You understand a situation. You can take a situation seriously, but you don't have to be afraid. And so I encourage you, do not walk in fear. Be wise, walk in love, don't walk in fear. Thanks again to Jade for being on the show. God bless you all. And I don't know when the next time I'll see you live is. It could even be this week. It could be on a remote. I think that might just happen. So be watching for that over the course of the day. In the meantime, God bless you. Thank you very much. Shout out to Penny. Thanks for watching tonight. And the rest of you all have a great night.